There's a little dance for you, Chef.
God, I love it when we start with a dance. It's gonna be a great recording.
Every week, like, no dance this week? So, there you
It
go.
sets the tone for a great recording.
You know what that was, Chef? That was my birthday dance.
It's soon.
It's February.
Oh, it's now the month.
It's February.
We've got to celebrate
We
all
gotta
month.
start celebrating. Let's celebrate.
We should have some wine.
Let's celebrate with some absolutely delicious wine. Chef, you are gonna love this stuff. Hey, my name's Ed. This is Chris. We do virtual tastings with you every single week. How
Without
do we
exception.
do it?
Without exception.
How do we do it?
Well, I mean, just the discipline.
I mean,
to
just
sit down and drink.
to just lay yourself.
I mean, it's
Just to
incredible.
lay yourself down on that sword for the rest of the world, you know, just you're a martyr.
Well, I can't wait till the weather warms up so we can get this parade lined up.
That's right.
Because I'm sure there'll be a key to the city as well.
Absolutely. I mean, who's doing more than us to spread the great word of wine? Well, Chef Chris and I do these virtual tastings for those of you that can't be here in person every Thursday night at 6 p.m. in downtown Mount
Thank
Airy.
you.
We have a tasting of 4 different wines from around the world. We cover 200 wines plus every single year. And we think it's important, even though we are a winemaking business here, well, we think it's important to know all the wines of the world. And we're chipping away at them one by one every week. And we hope that you can be here in person, but those of you that can't, we're really excited to share these wines with you in person. If you'd like to do this virtual taste along with us, just give us a call, RSVP for your tasting kits. You'll get 2 delicious bottles. And the taste along food that Chef Chris is going to just come up with here in a second, because we never plan these things. And then you'll be dining, watching the video at your own leisure, in your PJs, on the couch, on your boat, who knows, maybe in your helicopter.
Just keep your headphones on.
Yeah.
You don't lose your hearing in a helicopter.
So, this is a different kind of video than normal. We're going to have one producer, 2 different wines, and that's, I don't think we typically do that. We just kind of grab whatever, and I was actually hanging out with our buddy from Elephant's Corner, Andy, and I did a very early morning tasting the other morning, and Dornier was one of these wineries that is new to his portfolio. And of course, many of you know that we've done wine dinners with him and other wineries from South Africa. And we're going to be doing some more in May. Mark your calendars for that. We're going to have just block the whole month off. I don't know what the date will be, but we're going to do something with him. And it's going to be South African wines. And this is really fresh on my palate. And Chef Chris hasn't tried this yet. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on this. It's stunning, unbelievable wine here. Now, of course, Chenin Blanc is the white wine of South Africa. Usually people would consider it that. I mean, there's certainly some arguments to be made for Sauvignon Blanc, but Chenin Blanc is kind of, you know, their signature. And this one is a stunner from Swartland. So this is just going to be a very warm climate. It does have some cool coastal breezes that gives you that diurnal shift late in the afternoon and early evening that retains the acidity, but super fruit development during the heat of the day. Well, Chef, what are your thoughts?
Where to start?
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Well, I mean, first of all, the nose
Mhm.
is just assaulting.
Yeah.
With all the fruit and the green and I
Mhm.
swear you can smell the acid on this thing.
All right, yeah.
Honeysuckle, tons of lime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, it's very Sauv Blanc-ish, but it doesn't give you that at the end. It's a lot smoother.
Right.
This is just,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot going on in there.
what do you think about?
Banana.
Sure, definitely tropical in there. I think you're right. I think the lime drives it.
Yeah.
You have tropical
So
underneath.
good.
And you can almost smell the ocean in that glass too.
Believe it. Yeah, I'm certainly, if you close your eyes, it would transport you.
Yeah, this is a very old school production in terms of they're not even using trellises. They're just using old school bush vines like they did, back when the cavemen were around.
How
I guess.
cool is that?
But that is certainly a style that we've seen in different places, in Spain and in places like that, kind of older world places for sure. But this is the way most of South Africa was planted to begin with, mostly bush vines, and it was over time when when the government kind of let people run the lands instead of the government owning everything, then more sophisticated or more modern styles of trellising became more prevalent, but there's still plenty of bush vines. These vines are very old, which is also appealing to Chris and I because our palates tend to lean towards older vine stuff.
Yep. More character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it might not be the most efficient way for making wines, but that's okay. Character goes a lot longer in my book.
It counts.
Instead of efficiency. So
Well, you don't want a lab wine.
Mhm.
It's certainly there's a fine line there. I think. Yeah, I think that the argument ought to be, sure, trellising and doing these things to make everything just so. Maybe it'll improve your yield. Maybe it will do this and that. But there's nothing wrong with bush vines.
yeah.
I mean, they grow, they expand, they soak
Like
the
they're
water,
natural,
they
they're
get
natural,
they get
yeah.
the same sunshine. I think that's the grapes are going to develop they absorb the terroir the same as a trellis. I think it's just easier to get somebody to help you harvest it.
Probably.
It's like you sticking your hand in a snake grape bee trap. I think that's the reason they started drilling. They're like, man, there might be a beehive in there. There's going to be snakes and spiders.
Why not? Yeah.
Because they love the shade, the heat of the day. So if you're in there messing around with it,
Sure.
animals are going to naturally gravitate to that cover to protect themselves from the weather and predators.
Mhm.
So
That makes sense.
we keep running everybody off every year.
Save our hands and our
Yeah.
health. So this
You got
also,
one guy with a stick, and the
just
other guy with a
poking
great
around.
bat.
Yeah.
But
this area is also uses what's called dry irrigation. So you don't have any outside irrigation, only what nature gives you, which is a risky. Dry farming rather is a risky venture. You're really counting on Mother Nature, but you know what? If you know your piece of property like these people do, they know that can be successful. You might be at risk of a season or two here and there for sure. There's no doubt about it. But there's something about the charm of kind of letting Mother Nature decide if you can afford to do that, of course.
well, and I think too we hear about these things that you're hearing about, fire years and drought years and these things. There's a difference between not releasing a vintage and losing a vintage.
Yeah.
They're still blending. They're still selling juice. They're not going zero revenue.
Yeah.
They're just saying, this may not be a year to put our name on it, but
Yeah.
the juice is being harvested. And
Right.
You find something to do with it, but it just may not be a single varietal premier.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Of course, this also, I want to make note, is a 2019, and we're in 2023, and of course they are probably on the verge of harvesting right now for 2023. February is their month for the most part of harvest. So this would be basically, if you think about it, it's about 4 years from the harvest, and there is some sophistication that comes from an older bottle, particularly whites. I find they're more sophisticated. I'm also, chef, I'm getting like some chalkiness out of this wine as well. That's just now developing, and I love this green bottle. That's also going to help preserve it a little better than just the white from light degradation of the wine. So this is a wine to me that there's so many great things about it. It's sophisticated. It is great alcohol levels at 13.5 plus. Sophistication here. It is certainly a wine that can be enjoyed on its own merits, but I feel like it's more of a food wine texturally. I think that it needs
The weight,
some food.
it's got a big weight to it.
Yeah, this is not a simple wine. I wouldn't say it's weird or overly complex, but it's not a simple wine.
But it does evolve. It's warming up a little bit in the glass. The fennel's coming out, the apple's coming out. So you're getting
Absolutely.
away from that initial shock, you know, in a good way.
Sure.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you're just from the nose, you know, you're in for something special.
Right.
But the big citrus, the mouthfeel is widening now. The bigger fruits are coming out.
Yeah.
So it's not just, you know, citrus and herb. It's starting to get those fatter fruit flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely for me. Again, there is that tropical underlying thing that's going on that's not going away with the temperature change. But like you said, the
To me, it's
apple pear kind of thing going on.
To me, it's going from like big lime to like papaya or guava. So, you know, more rounded, tropical.
Like a green papaya.
Green papaya.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. It's and when I say green papaya, if you think of a papaya before it ripens, a lot of Thai dishes use it, and in other countries, but Thai I think is most famous for their salads. But they kind of use it as a vegetable more than a fruit before the sugars really develop. And
Yeah, it's like almost like a root vegetable paired with
Yeah.
you know, spliced with a fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's certainly, like, you can hear us listing all these things. That is not indicative of a simple wine. You're not going to get all these flavors and textures and references from a simple wine, and that's why we love the portfolio that we get to taste through with Andy all the time. So, Chef, what do you think food-wise would you have with this?
Well, I had something in mind. I don't know if it may be too fatty. Do you think a crab cake would be too fatty for this?
I think it'd be great.
I think it'd be great.
I think
too.
that actually this has a certain amount of refreshment to it that I think
It'll
would help
with the egg.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I want to do a little bit of that lemon Kashmiri chili
Yeah.
aioli with this to get that little spice to
Absolutely.
help with that
Yep.
little Kashmiri chili will help with the brightness of this. I think it'll help balance that so it's not fat on citrus.
Yeah, so that's I think that's a no-brainer. I think it's going to work. Yeah, I think we often think of course Chardonnays with crab cakes and stuff, but I mean that is more of a complementary. This this pairing would be more of a contrasting, and I like that.
Great. Yeah.
It changes the expression of the food and the wine, and I think that's fun to do. Chef Chris and I do pairings galore every week, and sometimes we're going at it in contrasting style, sometimes we're going at a complementary style. They're both great. It just depends on, you know.
They are both great,
Yeah.
but sometimes you know you don't want to pour butter on cream.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean, not
Yeah.
that if you're feeling indulgent, sure, but you know
Right.
that may not always be the answer.
Right.
So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, and honestly, Chef, I'm already getting into spring mode. I know I said it's February, but everything's green.
And
Everything's
blooming. The
I like-
daffodils are. I mean, I
Yeah.
have big, giant yellow
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah. So I
Irises
went up to
are up.
Mom's to take down the Christmas decorations. It was still January, so I got to
Technically,
it
you're
before
good.
February. And there was honeybees buzzing around my head
Crazy.
in January.
They're dead.
Wow.
But you know, I'm dreading the blast that we'll have before proper spring.
You're talking about the Arctic blast?
I just know we will get it. But these warm.
You good
Oh,
there,
I'm
Chef?
sorry.
Is that? I can't tell. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. I'm ready for spring. Even though we haven't had winter, thank you very much.
Yeah, the woolly worm was correct.
Yeah,
Woolly
we
worm said
forgot
we
to
were-
have a winter, but I'm still ready for
But
spring.
the woolly worm said it, so.
We
the woolly
don't
wins.
doubt the woolly worm.
No, the woolly worm was correct.
Their wisdom is timeless.
Oh, yeah.
It was there before us, it will be there after us.
Yeah, true story. So, like I said, today's kind of a different day. We're doing 2 wines from the same producer. Back to Dornier. This is in Stellenbosch, however. So we're moving up in altitude, and this is actually their highest vineyard. And this is rarely presented in South Africa, a single varietal Malbec. Now there is Malbec being grown, and Chef Chris and I have had so many of the different red blends with Malbec in it that we love. And I think really that's what, obviously we're big fans of Pinotage, but after Pinotage, we love those Bordeaux blends. I'm speaking for both of us because
Absolutely.
we've drank so much of it together.
Not enough.
But we don't ever see the Malbec as a single varietal. And this one is done in an extremely serious way. 18 to 24 months of French oak, about 40% new. And it's at the highest elevation of the property. Andy was telling me that they actually, they don't really know how much they'll have every year because it's kind of, it's so remote
Yeah.
that the baboons like to help themselves to the grapes. So
Oh, how nice to make sure they have fresh fruit.
right, and so
I hear scurvy's a big problem in the baboon community.
right, so these guys are sometimes taking the grapes before they can be. And I was asking, I was like, that seems really dangerous to be harvesting. He's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it sure is.
So you got,
If the
bees,
baboons don't get you, the
the-
kangaroo and bees.
the bees and
And the
snakes,
poisonous
yeah,
snakes,
yeah,
yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, so you need the National Guard to help with harvest there.
But what you do get is stunning. Now you're going to get big toast on this. The oak influence here is significant, and really what stood out for me on this wine is how ginormous it is. Now we don't always think of South African wines being huge, and that's one of the selling points for me. I like that their reds are flavorful but not heavy. This is big, and the reason why I want to bring this to you guys is because there's a lot of Malbec fans out there, and it just seems like there's a sea of the same Malbec.
We adore our South American Malbec
Yeah.
producers, but this is straight out of Cahors.
Yeah, it's like it's
I mean, this is
it's
not,
dark. It's
I mean,
dark
this
as
is-
dark gets, but with the addition of that big toast, smoky toast, almost like if it was California, how they like to really lay down the oak.
Yeah,
This has
they're not
got a
afraid.
lot of that element, but because it's only 40% new oak, it's not a vanilla bomb. You're still getting some
It's there.
dialed back, I guess.
It's
but
there.
the char is what the toastiness is what really enamored me, I would say. As you can see, it's extremely dark, and the fruits follow that. Absolutely, the color and the flavors really match in this.
This is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is stupid balanced.
Yeah.
It is silky.
Yeah.
It's oaky. It is spiced. It is weighty. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just ridiculous how good
This is going to be hard to keep around. It's going to go quickly, just so you know. These are very small boutique wineries. They don't make a lot, and you're only going to see about, I can't remember how he told me, it was very few cases that were exported.
They make it here.
Yeah, that he brought here. And keep in mind, he's the only one bringing their stuff in at this level. They do have some other different price points and things, but are maybe covered by other people. But these are exclusives, and we are very fortunate to have them. But I just want y'all to know, if you like these, tell me sooner than later, and think more about not just your wine for next week, but maybe the next several months to a year, so that if you want to have these wines around, you need to get them and secure them. I have so much wine here, I can't be a warehouse, but what I can do is try to get you what you want.
After my pre-order, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
after your
that's after
order,
the
yes.
fact.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, if it made it past the baboons and made it 2 years in oak and then made it over stateside, its destiny is probably to be right here, and we need to take advantage of that.
I mean, what a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that wine takes on character through its experience, not just its handlers. So I think that that's probably playing in, the philosopher of me thinks that's playing into the.
Sure, absolutely. It's destiny, right? So you have, this is also a 2018, so you're talking 5 years old. And obviously we talked about the 2 years in barrel, and then you got 3 more years rather in bottle aging to really harmonize. I don't see this wine settling down anytime soon. This is going to be a sturdy beverage for quite some time. And I wouldn't always say that about South African wines. They don't have quite as much structure as in tannins that a lot of wines that are more ageable do, but this certainly does. I would not have any problem laying this down for quite some time. But what's the point of doing it? You don't really need to. It's drinking great now. But I just want to reassure you that if you do get several bottles, that they're not going to be going south anytime soon.
Unless you mean by down the hatch.
Chef, what do you think food-wise? I mean,
Well, it's going to be great because I actually did this before I knew what we were going to be tasting because I was hoping it would find a spot.
okay.
Well, it was just going to make a spot. Boy, but the char on the oak with this smoked duck we're gonna do.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. So you get the fat really remains on that duck when you smoke it, but it gives it a chew, an intensity to it.
Sure.
It's going to be great. I think it's going to be delicious with this.
Smoked duck.
Yeah, smoked duck.
That sounds delicious.
And I'll do a little something, a little
So,
sauce. I don't
you
know
know-
what sauce I'm gonna do, but I'll do a little sauce with it.
Yeah.
It'll be wine involved, maybe some fruit, maybe some cranberry.
Yeah, I can see that. The that pastrami duck that you got was a big hit.
That was great. The only reason I didn't do that is because that tends to be, people go kind of nuts on that, and I knew I couldn't get it for another couple weeks.
Right.
So I was like, I better not do that.
Well, I'm curious. I'm excited about trying the smoked duck.
It's great. It's really great.
That's great. Well, that's going to be a delicious treat for you there that got the pickup box.
Crab and duck.
Yeah, you're spoiling them, chef.
Love it.
So this is the kind of thing we do every week, and obviously you can just watch the videos, pick up these wines out there somewhere if you're fortunate enough to find these wines, and or if you just like to listen to us ramble on and be silly, you can always do that too. But it's a lot more fun, I think, if you actually have the wines and the food in front of
It
you.
is.
And we have so many loyal patrons out there that are supporting us and doing this very regularly, some periodically, and it's a great blend. And of course, if you want to talk about how Januaries are so desolate here year after year after year until 2023, when we had record numbers at the Thursday night tastings.
Records. Every week.
Unbelievable turnouts week after week. We sell 80 some bottles last
81.
week. I mean, just unbelievable interaction. People are retaining and learning the ones that are coming
We were
regularly.
really talking about that yesterday, about how the wine IQs have just
Yeah.
it's gone from like, oh, it'd be fun to drink wine
Yeah.
with my friends, to like
Yeah.
they're geeking out on it, they're zoning in, they're talking about nuance. It's fun to see. You've done a great educational effort
Well,
here.
when Chris had that chef's table built and we only used it 2 nights a week, he's like, we got to figure out something to do with this space. And that's when we talked about how locals knew a lot about local wines. They just didn't have any real knowledge whatsoever of wines outside of the Yadkin Valley. And that's how this seed was planted, and now it's blooming with incredible. People are just getting such awareness of wine, confidence
The
in their
power
wine.
of wine. I mean, the
Mhm.
power
Yeah.
of wine and the seduction
Sure.
of wine. It is not a means to an end to go from having a bad day to being numb from alcohol. That's,
Right.
there's plenty of that out there. Not that it won't do that. But wine is seducing because the farming, the nature, the science, the romance, it's just on and on
Yeah.
and on, and it's never the same.
It never
And,
is.
and you go get your favorite spirit, tastes the same every year. And whether it costs $500 or $15, it's the same every year.
Yeah.
Your beer's always the same. You may have a seasonal, but even that seasonal's the same.
Yeah.
But wine, you'll never have the same thing twice, ever. And I just think being able to sip a moment in time and then to revisit and do those things, there's just nothing can compare to it.
Yeah.
Nothing can compare, and it's done throughout the world. People were figuring out how to make wine before they tried to make medicine.
That's
So,
true.
it was like,
Yeah, wine
there's
was your
something,
medicine.
it was
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And so this is, I feel like it's in our DNA. It's just part of who we are, and we're doing what we're meant to do on this earth when we
Yeah.
partake and share.
Absolutely. There's so many religious aspects
Yes,
to it. It just goes
absolutely.
on and on. So
I do need to be closer to God.
that's a great
So,
way to do it.
That's you know, we can never have.
Well, I
It
hate to
can
see
never be too close.
Since you're going to the altar, I think I'll follow you up.
Well, listen, I'm my brother's keeper and not going to leave you behind.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm.
Mm.
Well, I got to tell you, Chef, I've been so fortunate to meet. We're getting new people folded into our wine tastings all the time.
Yes, and that's
getting
a testament to
Yeah.
this program you've built as well.
And folding people in and getting to hear their, you know, their wine stories or their non-wine stories. You know, just, you know, the people that are like, gosh, I never knew that this is what wine is. Like I was always afraid of it.
Afraid of it.
And having it in
It's like
a
a
very,
broken record.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, the wine snobs of the world have really
Right.
hurt. Yeah, and you know, kind of like giving the stiff arm to people, and you know, we're more like, come on in.
Well, it's kind of like we talk about this. This is usually part of Chef Ed's feel at the chef's table. You know, we're sitting there doing $500 dinners and 8 courses, some of the best ingredients and wines from around the world. But you know, we look like this doing
Yeah,
it. You know, and how many people are still eating crap
yeah,
because of the way they've been made to feel when they go to a fine dining restaurant that
Mhm.
features fresh fish and local meats and vegetables because they don't feel comfortable.
right.
Just like in the wine world, they have felt shunned by snobs,
Yeah,
and no different in a high end restaurant. You walk in and
yeah,
or you don't know the words and you're embarrassed to order. You go right back to what was comfortable.
yeah. I agree.
And so we're trying to kill the stigma on the food side of that as well. But wine has a long history
Yeah,
of it. It's for rich landowners,
right.
not for you working folk.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and then that's changing.
So,
to wine's
Chris
credit.
and I have infiltrated.
What's that?
We're on the inside, and
Yeah.
we're bringing everybody in.
Changing it from the
Anybody
roots.
that's willing to listen to us, we want to share our food and wine experiences, and all the new ones that we haven't even experienced yet. You know, there's so many memories to be made still.
God, every day, and all they're
Guess what?
they're in the juice.
Now we can say next month we'll be in Portugal. Next month. So yeah,
It's not real.
yeah. I was looking at our.
Well, I don't really want to talk about Portugal during your birthday month. I think I
That
think
is my birthday.
March 1st, we can
Yeah.
pick up Portugal talk, but we really need to focus on your birthday
Focus,
month
yes,
right
focus. So, one other point, we have our wine and chocolate tasting this Sunday.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have two. Yeah, we have a
Come
lot
on.
of interest. We have 2 seatings, one at 12 and one at 3.
now.
And
Better luck at 12, really. At this point.
yeah, that's
we're
for sure.
we're about capped out. At
3 is hurting for certain, but you know, that is if you're into chocolate
and wine.
and wine, that is
And
I mean,
fellowship.
it's one of the funnest, one of our funnest events.
Well, what could go wrong?
Right.
I mean, you got chocolate and wine and fellowship. I mean,
No one's feeling any pain, I can tell you that. But I was telling Chef that I've got some really pretty wines planned for you. Some beautiful bubbles.
God,
We're
it's gonna be so much fun.
gonna have a
It's
lot
gonna
of
be so
fun.
much
It's yeah, we like to mix it up and do all the fun things that we can. And this
Talk
is-
about spoiled.
yeah.
Your wine lineup with these chocolates
It's
is
gonna be
spoiled.
fun. We're gonna
Yeah.
have some fortified wines as well. Just make sure everybody's pretty good and hammered, I guess. But we also on the we're gonna get through that, and then guess what's up? Valentine's week.
The big V.
Yeah.
The big
And
V.
so we're gonna be celebrating Valentine's on Friday and Saturday, the 10th, the 11th, and then of course on the 14th on the proper day of having that little space on Sunday for us to catch our breath.
I'm
is
excited for us to be able to
Normally we do
regroup,
in
get a little
chef's
rest.
tables.
Normally it would be,
Yeah.
we would just power right through
Yeah.
all 3 or 4 days.
I
And
think
so
we were hurting for certain last year when we did 3 in a row like that.
It was, well, and what I don't mind the toll it takes on us personally, but I know that last night, the experience is I just don't I like it when we're at our best.
Yeah.
And when we're our best when we're rested.
Okay.
And to have that reset, to get a little rest, to have a little family time,
Yeah.
we're coming back in, giving everybody what they deserve, which is our best,
Yeah.
and not being run down the
Grumpy
belly.
old man.
Are you sure you want some more?
Yeah.
Just 5 courses tonight. Get out.
Right. Yeah. Don't let the door hit you.
Not that that's ever happened.
No,
You know,
that's-
we're just being silly, of course, but it does. We are unfortunately human. We didn't used to be, but now that we're
The wine helps though.
can't imagine as old as you are how it feels, but I know that the mortality is starting to.
Well, you know, they say you're only as old as the women you date. So, I've been rejuvenated, sir. Anyway, we have this beautiful wine and chocolate coming up. We got Valentine's coming up. You know, we should probably do a wine and chocolate video. You want to do one of those?
Let's do it. I'm in.
We'll do one of those.
We'll do one, and you can pick it up Sunday.
Yeah, and we can do the. Are we gonna do?
Or you'll do it through it Tuesday.
We're gonna do some Valentine's to go stuff.
If you watch this video, I will.
Okay.
But we're not going to advertise that because I'm going to be up front with you.
Okay.
So I want to be something I can take care of during the day.
Gotcha.
I don't want to do that to the boys in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I want to set them up to succeed
Yeah.
and not set them up to fail. And if we throw them a lot of to-go curveballs, I don't want to do that to them.
Well, I was
but
thinking
if we
more in
plan
terms of-
ahead,
yeah.
I can pack it up,
Yeah.
have you ready, and you'll be good to go. Our little club right here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Our usual crowd. So keep that in mind for if you haven't seen the menus. They're out there online. They're out there in our social media world, and the menus are stunning. I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be hard to make a choice.
It will. So it's great to kind of mix and match. You know, we're going to have a beautiful lobster bisque. We're going to have a tremendous winter salad. It's going to have a lot of great stuff, very substantial. Of course, we're going to do speaking of pastrami smoked salmon with arugula and some other goodies. Obviously, you're going to have our spring rolls. And how are you going to choose here, Chef? Chilean sea bass, Angus aged beef tenderloin, and crackers. And then you've got a study in chocolate, creme brulee, bread pudding.
Yeah. It is very. That is.
You shall feel loved.
How many creme brulees are you gonna have to make?
I don't want to talk about
Dude, we're gonna serve like 300 people.
it. I gotta make a lot. You know how many little chocolates I gotta make? Because I'm doing a 4 option. There's 4 chocolates on the study for the dining room.
And we got 100 plus on Sunday.
I don't have a lick of sense.
Well,
The one on Sunday though, there's no distractions. It's just it's singularly focused, which is not as hard. It's still going to be hard to plate 500 chocolates.
yes, it is.
But that's all I have to do. I don't have to do a chef's table and set up.
You said plate. You forgot to mention design and conceptualize and make and then plate.
Oh, and then garnish.
And garnish.
And you have to have a garnish with each one.
Oh yeah, because you're fancy like that. Well,
That's the day I made chocolate meringue powder.
Cool. Very nice.
So actually,
That'd be
now I'm
great.
down to 4
I
garnishes.
love the texture that the powder
I do
brings.
too. I do too.
And it's like you think it's gonna be like almost it gets you think it's
You
gonna
think
be like sugar or
because it
something.
looks like cocoa sugar.
And then
and
it just goes whoosh. Yeah, it's
It's
awesome.
like cotton candy without
Yes,
the
that's
processed
exactly
sugar.
what
Without
it
the
is.
processed
Cotton
sugar.
candy.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a little sneak preview of all the deliciousness. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us every week. If you don't mind, like our video, share our video, subscribe.
Tell a friend, subscribe.
Send us a comment if there's anything that you're looking for. I mean, we cover the world, and we're happy to track something down if you like it. Otherwise, just tune in every week and see what we got up our sleeves for next week.
Also leave a comment and tell us what a poor job we're doing. We like that too.
Yeah, and our video crew stinks.
Thank y'all very much.
Hasta la vista.
Pleasure as always.